Y'all, I'm starting to run out of ideas. I've actually already ran out of ideas, and I've been getting the ideas for these videos from YouTube Analytics, but I'm starting to run out of ideas from there too. So if you have any ideas on how to rank the 12 zodiac signs, please don't hesitate to suggest it in the comments, or if you're feeling shy, shoot me an email. My email is in the description everywhere. Yeah, okay. Anyway, so let's rank the most to least dramatic signs. I guess it would be most dramatic to most passive, because passive would be the opposite of dramatic, or stoic, I guess is what I put here. I'm gonna do it in a random order because I don't want to start with Aquarius. Aquarius, I'm not really sure how to rank yet. But I don't want one that's too obvious either. Let's do Leo. I guess that is actually pretty obvious. Leo's definitely gonna be the most dramatic. Drama queen is definitely a good way to put it. I really don't even have anything else to say about it. About Leo. This is gonna be difficult. This one's gonna be difficult. I apologize. I might be saying a lot. Um, yeah, this is gonna be difficult. Okay. Aquarius is well, I don't think they are super dramatic. I would say they're going to be one of the more stoic signs because I think the signs that are least emotional are generally going to be, less dramatic, and Aquarius is one of the least emotional for sure. Aquarius can, I don't know, but part of them can. I'm gonna put them in stoic for now. The least dramatic. Aries is gonna be most dramatic for sure, for sure, for sure. Yeah, because Aries is the most spontaneous, the most expressive. Along with Leo, they're both very expressive, very fiery, very enthusiastic, very dramatic. That's just kind of how it is. Next to be Cancer. So, well, Cancer is the most emotional sign. So, I mean, you'd think that's got to be dramatic as well. But Cancer does value like social harmony, though. They don't want to rock the boat with everyone too much. So I think I'm going to put them in over the top, but not the most dramatic category, because there are other signs that are more dramatic than Cancer. We'll get to that in all in good time. Next is Capricorn. Capricorn would be. Oh, this is tough. This is tough. I mean, Capricorn is very internal, so I think they're going to be one of the least dramatic signs. Capricorn is one of the most professional signs, like not even just at work, but just all the time. Like it's like they constantly have to have a certain kind of image or reputation that they are projecting, I feel like. And so part of, being dramatic isn't typically going to be a part of that. So yeah, let's do stoic. I mean, both the Saturn ruled signs would definitely be the least dramatic. Also, I think having that Saturnian energy, it can be very cold, and they're focused on the future more so rather than being, I think that's another polarity that's emerging, is that the signs most focused on now are they're going to be the most dramatic, and the signs that are more focused on the future, I think, are going to be the least dramatic because they're more strategic. I don't know, something like that. That sounds good. Let's go with that. Next is Gemini. Gemini is gonna be a little more dramatic than Aquarius or Capricorn for sure. I think they'd go in average because Gemini's can be very sporadic and very expressive for sure. Gemini is one of the most expressive signs easily. But at the same time, this is an air sign. They can be a little bit detached. They're definitely not one of the most emotional signs. So I think all in all, there's a lot, tilting them in either direction. I think they're just kind of right in the middle when you put it all together. Next is Libra. I guess I am doing these in order after all. I'm sorry. This was a mess. I'm not gonna do another take though. Libra is gonna be one of the least dramatic signs. They can be a little dramatic though. Like, oh gosh, I don't know. Well, yeah. I think I'm going to put them in the understated category because, well, Libra is very detached. I always say I think Libra is the most detached sign, even though they don't come across that way. They secretly are. And so Libra also values social harmony very much, probably more so than any other sign. So they being dramatic. I was actually just thinking about how I think Libra is kind of the least likely to take risks, especially socially. they only will kind of put themselves out there if they know that it's safe to do so. Does that make sense? There are some exceptions to that. Like if you combine Libra with a fire sign, obviously that's going to look a little different. Like Simon Cowell, I don't know. But maybe even that kind of mentality, maybe like they only express themselves in that way if they're very confident that they can do so. I don't know. Anyway, but part of that comes with generally being less dramatic. God, this is a mess. I'm sorry. I don't know what's wrong with me today. Next is Pisces. Pisces is going to be one of the more dramatic signs for sure. I think I'd put them right next to Cancer. Because Pisces being a water sign like Cancer, they're very emotional, very sensitive. Going along with that makes them more dramatic for sure. But water signs are a little bit more internalized than fire signs. So I think generally speaking, the fire signs are going to be a little bit more dramatic than the water signs. Does that make sense? Next would be Sagittarius. I think Sagittarius would be over the top, but not as dramatic as Aries and Leo. You could definitely argue or debate about that. You could say Sagittarius would be the most dramatic, but Sagittarius is mutable. It's intellectual. It's detached. It's partially it's symbolized as a human. Well, it's symbolized as a centaur, which is half human, half beast, half animal, whatever. So all the human signs I think they're going to be a little bit more rational, a little bit more intellectual, a little bit less dramatic, a little bit less emotional. So Sagittarius is kind of both. Like, yes, they are fiery and passionate and very expressive and dramatic, but then they can also be detached and intellectual. Many of the people I've known who have major Sagittarius placements can actually be a little bit shy. So I think they're still on the more dramatic side of things, but not all the way, not in the most dramatic category. Scorpio is going to be in the most dramatic category for sure. So kind of interesting. The fire signs are most dramatic with the exception of Sagittarius. Water signs are going to be in the next rung, just below fire signs with the exception of Scorpio. I always say Scorpio is the most emotionally intense sign. Scorpio is also a very fiery water sign. Scorpio is it's probably the most intense sign. So yes, very dramatic. They do tend to keep that emotion and drama contained as best they can. They keep it controlled, but I think sometimes their emotions can get the best of them though, and that would be very intense for sure. Even also, like, I don't think being dramatic is just about being like loud. Like, you can be dramatic with your actions as well, like taking some kind of huge reaction to something arguably small. So Scorpio can be very dramatic in that way as well, like dramatic in a strategic way, dramatic in, I don't know, launching like a full-scale attack in retaliation for something perhaps like trivial. So yeah, Scorpio definitely dramatic. Next is Taurus. Taurus is going to be one of the less dramatic signs for sure. I think I'd say understated with Libra. I think they'd be, I guess about the same as Libra. I mean, both are Venus-ruled signs, Libra and Taurus. They both want social harmony. They don't want to rock the boat too much. They're also both a little bit passive. Taurus is just very, they definitely have strong boundaries, and so I think Taurus could be a little dramatic in that regard, but what are you if you don't have strong boundaries, right? Who can fault them for that? I think Taurus is it's very chill energy. Like, Taurus is the bull, so yeah, they can be, that's kind of the same thing I was saying. The bull, will mess you up if you provoke it, but generally speaking, though, the bull, the Taurus is going to kind of just mind their own business. They are pretty docile, I would say. It reminds me of alligators too. Maybe that's, being in Florida. I feel like the Florida Zodiac would be an alligator for Taurus, because they will attack you, but generally speaking, like, all the ones I've seen are just very chill. They're kind of just laying around for the most part. So that makes me think of Taurus. Like, they can fuck you up, but generally speaking, they're very chill, not very dramatic at all. Okay, and then we've got Virgo. I was actually thinking about Virgo, and this one for me is tough because Virgo is generally modest. They don't usually like attention. Obviously, there are exceptions, but Virgo is usually very understated, modest. What else? Virgo is humble. I know people love to hate on Virgo, but they really are, though. I've been observing this, and you can't say I'm saying that just because I'm a Virgo. I've been observing this in many other people, not just myself. Um, they do tend to be a little humble. However, the reason why this is difficult for me, though, is because Virgo is very direct. They are one of the more honest signs, and so I think they can actually be very dramatic in that regard, if that makes sense. So, I think they'd either be average or understated. I think they're a little more dramatic than Libra or Taurus. So maybe average. I guess the Mercury ruled signs, Gemini and Virgo, can be next to one another with in the average category. I don't know. So I kind of just threw this video together. I hope that was fun for you. But yeah, thanks for hanging out with me and listening to me analyze the signs. Like I said before, if you have any ideas on how to rank the signs, please let me know, because I'm kind of out of ideas and my forecasts haven't been doing very well. Okay, thanks so much for watching. Have a great day.